Hello, this is Carl Taylor, and this is my video discussion for Unit 3, Park University. Today it's November the 5th, 2019. This week we discussed communication. My executive summary says there are many important aspects when dealing with project management, but one of the most important effective aspects is proper and effective communication. Effective communication allows the team to be on the same page and to be able to solve problems more effectively and efficiently while keeping the project ongoing and moving at a fastidious pace to ultimately being completed and finished on a timely basis. While project management is not only composed of starting, planning, and completing a project, it also builds an integral part of the company which takes a team of people putting their processes together to ultimately finish a good product or complete a service which can be used by the general public. What are some of the key techniques, methods to communicate effectively as a project manager? One thing, more effective communication equals better project management, is obviously known to everyone in project management. But we do face difficulties in implementing it because due to various factors like the nature of the project, the structure of the organization, etc. About 90% of the time in a project is spent on the communication by the project manager. If this continues in a project, there is a danger of missing the deliverables or other outcomes as required by the sponsor. That's taken from Kumar 2010. This is a very important because being a project manager is you've got to use effective communication. Using effective communication plan not only keeps all the information flowing, but also allows everyone to be able to have the information at hand and no one is trying to second guess themselves or questioning what parts of the project they are on or even what they need to have completed and when. It's all wrote down in stone. Trying to take into consideration with whom you are communicating with and their backgrounds into consideration when communicating with them. That's another important aspect. What are some do's and don'ts as a project manager when communicating with project teams and stakeholders? These are tips for individuals to communicate to achieve success in a team. First of all, recognize and understand your differences. Know who you're talking with, what's the background of each team member, what is their experiences, and how does that shape the team members' views, opinions, perspectives, and biases. It is imperative to keep an open and flexible mind. Recognizing differences means acknowledging and respecting individuals for who they are, does not necessarily mean to imply agreement with their perspectives, nor is it a like-dislike dimension. You, the sender, need to consider how you are different from the intended audience. What is your background and experience, and how does the past shape your views? What are your opinions and biases? Communication is a two-way process, and you, as a sender, play an important role. 2. Create the appropriate message to communicate. Be clear about the content and goal of your message. Are you communicating to inform, asking for inputs, clarifying an issue, resolving a problem? How should your message be formulated given the differences between yourself and your audiences? Should your message be direct and to the point, or should it be more subtle and indirect? Deliver the message is number 3. Your message can be delivered in many different ways, such as written document, a team meeting, voicemail, email, or face-to-face communication. Each has its own advantages and disadvantages. Select the type that will maximize your delivery and will be successful for your delivering of the message. Obtain feedback is the 4th one. You'll want to check for understanding and ensure that your message was accurately received. The important point is to ensure accurate comprehension, not necessarily agreement. And that's all taken from Kumar 2010. These are all good ways to not only help to talk to stakeholders, but also to team members. And remember, the most important thing is to deliver bad news easily while accentuating on the positive things the team has already done. When I used to judge the 4-H demonstrations for the local 4-H county fair, I used to always tell them one bad aspect of the speech and give 3 positives for each bad point. This kind of helped to keep the speaker's self-esteem while letting them know that what they need to work on. What are the major components of the communication plan? An effective communication plan in place is the key. Based on stakeholder analysis, the project manager and the project team can determine the communications that are needed. There is no advantage to supplying stakeholders with information they don't need, and it's a waste of resources. The communications plan can organize and document the process types and expectations of communication. It provides the following: the stakeholders' communication requirements in order to communicate the appropriate information as demanded by the stakeholders, information on what is to be communicated. This plan includes the expected format, content, and details on how needed information flows through the project to the correct individuals, appropriate methods for communicating, including emails, memos, reports, and even press releases, schedules of when the various types of communication should occur. Some communications, such as status meetings, should happen on a regular basis, while other communications may be prompted by conditions within the project. Escalation processes and timeframes for moving the issues upwards in the organization when they can't be resolved at lower levels. Methods to retrieve information as needed. Instructions on how the communication management plan can be updated as the project progresses, and a project glossary. That's all taken from Raja Kumar 2010. The communications plan may also include information and guidelines for project status meetings, team meetings, email meetings, that's electronic meetings, not meetings about the letter E, and even email. Setting expectations for communications and meetings early in the project establishes guidelines for the project team and the stakeholders. These are all important and help establish healthy communications between a project manager and their team members. Why is the communication plan vital for the project's success? The communication plan is very vital for project success as it keeps the communication flowing between the project manager, the team members, stakeholders, accounting, and not to mention quality control. When all the communications flow and are steady, the project will surely be on task, not on budget, and be completed on a timely basis. Communication is very information in getting not only a project started, but also ultimately finished also. An interesting article I found had several topics about good communication in team groups. The article more or less reminded me that it does not only effective communication create engagement, but it also generates a broad input of ideas from the team participants. It tests the assumptions from the team members, and it also allows updates on progress, which allow for a clear and exchange of ideas while keeping everyone on the same page and wavelength. That came from Richards 2017. Who is the most important person or group on the communication and why? The most important person or group is everyone openly communicating. The project manager needs to communicate, and so does the team members. Almost everyone has worked in teams at some point in their lives. Within the teams, communication is crucial between all members, regardless of what role each person plays. Whether it is between two teammates on a sports team or two managers in a corporate office, communication is vital to success, and that came from the Bass 2018 article. The conclusion, team communication is very important for not only the exchange of ideas, but for the open flow of project specifications to keep the team members on budgets, timelines being followed, and the work being evenly distributed. For instance, I can sum it up in just one sentence. To me, it is better to have more than one heads working on something so we can solve the problems and get the project finished on a timely basis. Thank you.